So practice means like cultivating, having faith in oneself, applying oneself fully to it. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else? Yes, Joe. Embodied adherence to your method. Okay. Good. Anyone else from here? Okay, Mike. Life. Okay. A little bit abstract. But okay. It's not. It's not wrong. And a lot of activities happening here. Yeah. Sorry. Living. Someone over here. In a form or structure that's larger than using the structure or form, but through it, maybe I'm trying to get to what you're trying to say. Using the structure and form, but experiencing something that's much greater than just the form. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna try to pick someone over here. Yes, please. What is your name? Embodied. One more over here. Then we can go over there again. Yes. Transcending yourself through actions. Okay. Okay. Yes. Your name, please. Sam. Yeah. Good. Integrating the Buddhist teachings on and off the cushion. Okay. And what is the Buddhist teachings? Think it. Oh, say it. Liberation from suffering. Okay. The textbook answer. Good. It's not wrong. So you're correct. For me, I like to think of practice as so we could go through life without practice. We can engage in all kinds of stuff. Right? But what we do, so the first idea I'd like to share with you is practice exists at junctures. Junctures. It's a very simple idea. Junctures of what? Junctures of contact. When your eye sees form, when your ears hear sound, when you smell something, when you touch, feel something, when you think of something. Junctures. For example, if you're sitting meditation and sitting, the embodied experiencing of contact, your breath, or the physicality of sitting, embodied. Make sense? So understand it this way: all opportunities, actually, opportunities for practice, contact, there are other junctures. Practice also exists, junctures of positions, of change. Normally, people don't like change, right? So it's these junctures, whether we can bring forth our practice or we can flow of ups and downs of life, swirled around vortex of change. Mind just really roasting. So that's not practice. Does that make sense? Yeah. Junctures. If I were to translate to Chinese, it would be oh wait. It's a very famous Southern Song Dynasty Chan master. He says translation, it's wherever you encounter junctures, whatever you encounter is reality. It is not reality. It is notions, discursive tendencies. So they're not actually actually. This exists at the junctures of contact, junctures of transitions, just also we can say this exists juncture just beyond words and language. So this is related to the Chan axiom. It's the tradition, Chan Zen tradition, not dependent on words and language. Silent, independent of scripture, just pointing to the mind, seeing the nature, fourfold axiom, heart of Chan. So it involves stories, right, of who you are, stories of notions, ideas, without depending on juncture. What is it? Basically, who are you without your stories? Who are you without your identities? It's not abstract. It's every moment of life. This cup, you don't call it a cup. What is it? Don't call it a cup. And nor is it not a cup. But at this juncture, what is it? And that's with everything. So this juncture, words and language falls away, points to the immediacy of experiencing. Ordinarily, people use words and language for everything. Words and language hijacks every one of your sensory organs. Whatever you see, it's got a name for it. Whatever you hear, it's got a name for it. Whatever you feel, touch, smell, taste. The nature of language, words, while very useful, labels, the nature of words and language is divisive. It segregates, separates, makes distinctions. Create containers. Words and language are very important. Buddhist sutras have all kinds of words and language. They themselves, it's not really the problem. It's our identity and grasp onto them. Because this is all that we've ever known. We don't know who we are without our labels, stories, identities. We filter everything through these containers. And the message of Chan is that you're already free. These containers don't define you. These labels not limit you. What is it? Who are you without these? People usually identify themselves with their knowledge, their personal experience, their thoughts, their ideas, opinions, all words. So, so we start with something simple like practice exists at the junctures of content. We can say embodied experiencing of this contact. So at the very least, our body and mind are together. Just in the experience, the experience, the experience. So, one destination. So at the working end of practice, whatever method that you use, working with the breath, secret is juncture. That's the say beginner's meditation workshop, the mind must stay in the present moment. This moment is just an abstract idea. It doesn't exist. It's a notion. It's just a word. Looking in the practice, what that means is contact. Contact breath, how it touches, nostril, instant by instant by instant by instant. There's a freshness quality to that. There's a fascination to that. Right? Wakefulness to that. Whether you're using the breath or you're just sitting, embodied experiencing of sitting. You know you're sitting. Contact. Sensation. Right? This is where sensation and contact converge. Right? That's where practice exists. Does that make sense? How do you know you're sitting? Well, you feel the body. You feel relaxed. You feel grounded. What is that? Contact. Useful. Why? Because it bypasses words and language right through labels. So instead of depending on the filters, exclusive filters, oh, I'm using this, I'm doing that. It's just blah, 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 blah. It's just talking. It's monologue. So directly experiencing. How? Very rudimentary. That's the secret. You are only experiencing this moment. Your mind is in the present. There's no past, no future. Just freshness. You have to rely on words and language to get to your method. Like you're still talking to yourself. So you're still being hijacked by words and language. Words and language don't define you. This is good. This is bad. I'm doing a great job. Our last period was great. Let me try to get back to the blah, blah, blah. It's just talking. It's not actually experiencing. You're already off the method. So when you're concretely speaking and working on the practice, when you're meditating, how many of you are meditating on the breath as method? Oh, very few. Okay. Silent illumination. I don't know what kind of silent illumination you guys are doing, but we'll see. Silent illumination. Chan Master Hongzhi, right? Southern Song Dynasty, he articulated this. Silent illumination is just some poetic imagery. It's just a poetic way of expressing awakening, actually. So when you're actually sitting, what are you doing? Silent. What, what are you actually doing? It's a metaphor. Silent illumination. These are just words. It's a metaphor. It's poetic imagery. It's not really a method. Are you surprised? What? I've been doing this for so many years. It's not a method. there are some principles to what the metaphors point to. Hongzhi, no one really focuses on this. This part of what Hongzhi says. Besides his, poetry and so on, the actual practice, he calls it 体究, 体究, embodied investigation. For experience in Chinese, it's very unique. Chinese and also Japanese, they use the kanji. It has the radical of body in it. Did you all know that? So when they talk about experience, it's embodied. It's not abstract. It's not like notions and idea. It's embodied. Right? Word investigation. It's Hongzhi's word. An equivalent of it is Tan. That's what Lingji masters use. Tan investigation. But 研究的究, so embodied investigation. So he's talking about embodied experiencing. Investigating what? In the investigation, there's wakefulness. That's the principle of illumination part. Free from discursive notions. You're not investigating, like analyzing with words and language. You're embodying it. Right? So you're bypassing all this chattering. That's the silent part. Silencing what? Words and language. Hijacker. So you're coming to know this moment. You're coming to know this moment. You are encountering what you're contacting. Embodiment. Without the filtration of discursive words and notions and ideas. Right? Words and language, they do not actually point to the thing. Up, right? Up. Do not actually point to this thing. It's an arbitrary sign, label. It could be, we could agree, we call this gaga goo goo. We could do that. It doesn't actually point to this. This has no name. Nothing has name. So words point to other words. They don't actually point to the actual thing. So if you're swirled around with words and language, notions, idea, you're just spinning around in circles. Cutting through that, embodied investigating, the juncture where words and language falls away. What is it? So concretely speaking, silent illumination is just this metaphor for these very simple principles of direct immediacy of embodied experiencing, free from chatter, monologue, not oblivious, not in a stupor, very wakeful. Does that make sense? So how you, what actual concrete method you actually use, you can just apply these principles to whatever method that you're using. You understand? These are principles. So for example, when you're sitting, how are you sitting? How do you know you're sitting? There's a contact of the body to the earth. There's a sensation of being relaxed. So being embodied, wakeful, experiencing sitting. Simplicity of this act of sitting. When you're walking around, you get up, you walk around, you're getting a drink of water, you're engaging with the world, embodied, experiencing this moment. Not through the filtration of your emotions and ideas. That immediacy of experiencing. You know, embodied experiencing of sitting, embodied experiencing of walking, embodied experiencing of standing, lying, drinking, eating, mindful working, moment to moment. You're in your skin. You're not elsewhere. The mind is not elsewhere. You're in your skin, embodied, grounded to earth. You're practicing the silent illumination principle. Does that make sense? Do you have any questions so far? Yes, Sam. Third one is where words and language falls off, drop off. Yeah, they all converge to the third one. There's a lot of junctures. I'm only naming three. There's junctures of contact, junctures where change happens, occurrences, challenges, junctures of tension, or whenever we get tense, that's a practice point. You know, junctures of life. My teacher used to say, "What is life?" Usually, what people are engrossed in life, five things: 名利权位势 fame or recognition. A lot of people chase that. They want to be seen. They want to be heard. Those moments. In Chinese, it could be translated as fame or loosely recognition. The junctures of recognition, right? When you're not recognized, you did the work, right, at work, and someone else is hijacking, taking the credit. Volcano start to bubble up. That's a juncture. Life. Gaining, gain, and loss. 名利 benefit. Your sense of gaining and losing. Those are junctures. If we don't avail ourselves through practice, bring forth our practice in those moments, your method, aligning yourself with the Dharma. If you don't do that, then you What's the other option? Habit tendencies, vexations, selfing and othering, blaming, suffering, power. That's the third one, big one. Power dynamics. Yeah. So what's it? Life is practice. What's life? Position. That's another big one. Position, status. Even in Dharma centers, in monastery, you don't think everyone in the monastery want to become a saint. These five are still working there, you know? It's supposed to be like, who's going to be the head monk? Who's going to be the head nun? Who's in charge of this? Who's in charge of that? No one wants to scrub the toilet, right? So, position, status, spheres of influence. Fifth one, that's life. You examine through this lens. What is life? Practice. Life is practice. Excellent. It doesn't mean necessarily just, like a robot. You just going through life and matter in the breath. Stay with the breath. Yeah. Someone asks you, breath. It's not really practice. It's in the midst of complexity of life, engaging with the world, with injustice, with all kinds of ups and downs. Practice. These five rules. That's life. So it's all kinds of junctures. Just remember the first idea I introduced is just juncture. Practice exists at the junctures. Be as simple as six sense organs, contact, six sense object. That basically includes everything. So eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, thought. That's everything exists at that juncture. What you bring to it. Yeah. Juncture, contact. Junctures, the way I use it, it's a larger idea, category, under which it could be contact. One way to look at practice. Another way you can challenges, change, the juncture. The Chinese would be 接触的触 not that 触第二个触 yeah, 触 be that. Be that. For example, in the 12 link chains, be, with the 7 and 8, six sense organ, you contact, and then you have sensation. And once you have sensation, and you have craving, and then craving, you got grasping. So at these structures, 12 link chains, very concrete practice point. Contact and sensations converge. Right, so that's one way to look at it. Yeah, but juncture means more than just contact. You see the way I use it, like what Dahui says, 处处皆真, right? So it's not just like traveling chain, dependent origination. It doesn't mean that. You know, we translate as object, it could be circumstances. Yeah, that's why I translate it as juncture. It's a larger rubric under which you can different things under. So the first idea I introduce is junctures. Practice exists at the junctures of life. Junctures, all these different junctures. At the very simple level, it's just maybe contact. It's kind of entry point into, because we're always having contact. So when you're sitting, what is the concrete contact? And why I stress contact is I want to bypass the monologue. I want to bypass discursive thinking that hijacks everything. No words, no language, just body experiencing sensations. Right? Or sitting. In the beginning, you may have some words to help you. That's like crutches. You use some crutch to help you. Relax. Am I relaxed or not? Do I feel grounded? Is it smooth? Warmth? Is it crutches? If you need that, you can have it. This will fall away. Right? So when you are walking, the embodied experiencing of walking, it's very important. So at this first level, we have to expose the extent to which, so you really have to realize this, expose the extent to which you are actually hijacked by words and language all the time. If you're not aware of this, you're just going through life practicing, and then you're circling around in words and language. So you have to expose that. Right? So my teacher have several methods to do that. For example, he teaches meditation on breath. He always emphasizes just experience it. Experience it. People, whether it's in English or Chinese, when you hear that, it's just, oh, just experience it. Like you think nothing of it. Actually, what he's saying is just, so I changed the word experience to just embody it. Now it's like, oh, let's experience it. And sometimes he trains words and language hijacks our sight and sound. He teaches direct contemplation. Practicing comparison, labels, words, stories, temporarily, just these are all ways for us to shed the extent to which we're always living in our heads. Just in their heads. This is all you've ever known. Your stories about yourself, about others, about the world. You never actually question the actual story. Building block of the story. The verbs, the nouns, the language. It doesn't point to anything. It's gaga goo goo. Consensus built. So seriously, someone call you, you jerk. If you didn't understand English, I would say, you jerk. Oh, he's smiling at me. He likes me. Words and language. We impute so much, invest so much into that. So to say we don't need words and language, we should not be used by them. We should not be conditioned by them. Use it wisely. Otherwise, words can be injurious, cause harm. So that's why I teach the junction of contact. That's why I emphasize embodied experiencing. And now you know why. Expose the extent to which words and language orchestrates our life, our every experience. It's hands in everything. Take it out and just experience. Rest in that experiencing. To do that. To do that. Talk about this. Buddha. This, you don't think this is John? It's everywhere. In the early text, there's a sutra, Malankya Sutra, Sutta, Malankya Putta, Malankya Putra. This is something very interesting. He says, when you're seeing something, when you're seeing an object, your mindfulness is already lost. What? When you're hearing a sound, you're already gone. That's what words do. That's what experience and grasping do. We reify and solidify our experiencing into containers, into things. Yeah. As soon as you think you see something, you're gone. No mindfulness there. Isn't that interesting? It's exactly what Hongzhi is saying. When he says, John Master Hongzhi says,为缘而造. Illuminating without opposing. As soon as me looking at that, you're gone. You're already gone. Forget about practice. You're already off. Selfing, othering, everything's already there. Okay? Why? Because we use words and language to encapsulate what we are actually experiencing. And we never question this container. So, oh, I'm looking at that. You are just that. You're gone. So what I'm saying is embodied experiencing, just experiencing, just seeing, just hearing. Do you understand? You understand? You give rise to no consecutive storyline about this and that. You know, all these storyline we build upon that. Interesting. Yes.
Said that earlier, how do you know you're sitting? By feeling it, right?
Usually people do that. Yeah. No. It's like this. When I need words and language to feel the cup in my palm. There's weight. It's like, how do I know the cup See my palm. That's through. So, so, so there's a posturing, right? I'm not sitting like this, right? I'm sitting like this. So you're in your skin. Posturing, embodying. There's a sense of weight at the cup in my palm. Right? Just as you are sitting now, right now. Rooted, grounded. In this moment, experiencing body, experiencing you don't need body. You don't need mind. It's already here. We're not used to doing that. We don't do that usually. That's what I mean. We hijack everything with words and language. Am I doing right? Maybe posture, maybe a little left. Get you over here. You know? Or how do I use that? Self-consciousness. Self-consciousness. Self-consciousness is not mindfulness. It's not awareness. If you're there's no imagery. Like if you are walking and you're very mindfully watching yourself walking, like you're outside looking, that's not Buddhist mindfulness. It has the ability to create ourselves into a thing and then attack it. I'm too fat, too short, too long. I'm not doing good. I'm doing great. That's self-consciousness. So yourself become a fabricated, doesn't really exist, fabricated thing, and you're like looking at yourself, washing dishes, doing work. No. If you're in your skin doing it, there's just freshness. There's just a of embodied experiencing. Body and mind one, moment to moment to moment. So she's quoting the line by Da Hui, 处处皆真. In translation, ever encountered. This English doesn't really capture, but rough translation, whatever you encounter is reality. It loses the nuance of the moment, moment of immediacy. If you experience it is that you're doing without your selfing and othering, that's reality. There's no other reality outside of that. Yes, John.
There's a knowing, a self consciousness. But the moment that's known, it's just let go of.
Of the mind.
Right.
Right. It's already let go of. In the act of doing
In the act of knowing it,
it's already let go.
Right.
But if we reify and make it into a thing and then build something on it, then that's attachment.
Right. So that the moment that it's known, embodied, known.
Yeah. But in the early texts, there are some translators. You see this in the, it's a little bit of a problem because they insert the I in the translation, whereas in the original language, there's no need for the subject. It's implied. So you don't need to say, in seeing, I'm seeing. In walking, I'm walking. In breathing long, I'm breathing long. That's a wrong translation. In breathing long, long. Breath short, short. They just immediacy. There's many places. That's which, even in the lesser discourse of emptiness, right? They give you all the runaround. This elephant. Elephants exist in the forest. And the forest exists because of the ground. Ground, you don't even know the ground because of space. And space exists because of consciousness. And then at the end, this is, yeah, it's just six sense organs functioning the way they are supposed to. All the ruminations and proliferation of notions and ideas, it's just, it's useful, help us to get in the path, get us kick started with the secret. The secret. First line of the Chan tradition, not depend on words and language. So without depending on that, without using this crutch, embodied experiencing. So exposing the ways in which we ruminate, proliferate with ideas, stories, and putting through that. It's the secret. It's the key. So whatever method that you use, to first be aware of the extent to which we actually do that. That chattering. You have to expose that. Once you expose that, not depend on it. Poly into. Use a method. What usually works better is using a method that practices that. The method doesn't even involve discursiveness. All the Buddhist methods, the easier the method, it's most difficult to do. It's stripped of all these proliferations. The most complicated method like visualization, visualize this, you chant this, you recite this. It's the easiest to do. Why? Because that's all that we've ever known is words and language. It's give you the runaround until your mind gets tired and you don't need that anymore, and they slowly drop. Choose a method. It's non-discursive. Train yourself to start to use other sense organs in experiencing. You know, you're eating. So the way that we're wired is like that. So we have to capitalize on the way that we actually built. Instead of always using words and language, living the headspace to know everything, we start to use other sense organs. Privilege that. One biggest sense organ is the body. Body. Just being present. Just being, you can come to know the person, being present to that person. Right? You don't have to go through words. How that person carries herself, himself. Does that make sense? There's multiple ways of knowing. And that's what Hongzhi says. Touching things. Illuminating without opposing things. That's the problem. We make everything into a thing. And then we, so making them into a thing. You allow them to flourish. You allow them to, you're just present to that. Isn't that nice? Yeah. You allow a person to be. Junctures of contact. Embodiment. So now you know the logic behind why I focus on embodied experiencing. Problem with the reverse, the words and language. Everything reify, solidify everything into a thing, right? This is just a jerk. It's just a friend. This is culture, fullness, astonishment, amazement. Once you start to do this, you will be able to experience freshness, wonderment in everything that you do. Tomorrow I'll introduce practice of wonderment. Yeah. So what I'm talking about, it's not abstract philosophy. It's embodied experiencing. How to engage in practice, you know, working in the practice. How do we actually practice? A method, walking, talking with someone, being present. See.
This might be a bit of a more of a historical question. I was reading a collection of letters from, it was called Zen Letters was the book. It was letters from a teacher named Taoyi, and he keeps warning his students about the perverted school of silent illumination. And I was like, hey, I'm going to one of those retreats. Maybe I can ask what this is about.
Bao Hui likes to criticize. That's his hang up. There are historical, socio-political reasons why he said that. He said those things during the time of dynastic transition, where Song Dynasty was conquered by the Jurchens. They took over half. Just imagine like Canada invades America, like took over half, like from Kentucky upwards. Everything's Canada now. Like, so during that, that's not going to happen, of course. But in that devastating transition, the juncture of transition. He belonged to the camp of pro-war. And he got exiled, excommunicated, right? By the emperor. And he was criticizing any trace, any inkling of pacifism in the political realm, the religious realm. And all those colleagues who are teaching the literati, just including his own teacher's students, Lingji, Ringzai, they are teaching. I have an article on this, you can search. The person who used the most metaphor of passivity, sitting like a dead rock, be like a dilapidated temple's censer, like incense, wither log, was not Hongzhi. Statistically, guess who? His own teacher. 人物特勤, the person who compiled Blue Cliff record, 100 koan cases, he's the one in Song Dynasty that used the language far surpass every other Chan master. And his students, other than Da Hui, of course, continued that. So, because of the 18th century tension in Japanese Zen, Hakuin criticizing Soto Zen, so Japanese scholars project that into Chinese Buddhism. No, Da Hui is not criticizing Hongzhi. Da Hui is criticizing his own Dharma brothers. And then he's burned his own teachers. The Cliff record. The wood block prints. So there's a little bit of history for you. Yeah. So silent illumination, the way, and who got Da Hui the first job after the emperor changed? You know, Hongzhi. Da Hui did the funeral for Hongzhi, but even before that, his excommunicado was lifted, and he was allowed to go up to the capital, and he paid a visit to Hongzhi. Hongzhi got him a job at Ayu Wangshan. Yeah, so this polarity between Ringzai Zen and Soto Zen. Ringzai is warrior Zen, and Soto is farmer Zen. That's just 18th century Japanese stuff. Yeah. Not the Japanese practitioners, the scholars who studied that in the 20th century reinvented this image, this tension. In Chinese, no tension. There's no tension. There's a lot of criticism. Dao is criticized. But what kind of practice that was being taught? His Dharma brothers, specifically. Yeah. Hongzhi just got wrapped up in that. Hongzhi taught koans. And when Da Hui started to coin this term, silent illumination, and then Hongzhi began to write about silent illumination. Did you all know that? He liked the term. So, that's a nice way of articulating it. Let me elaborate on that. True practice of silent illumination. Yeah. The timeline of who did what, when did this happen? Later. Yeah. So, silent illumination, you don't think this is passivity. Art, investigation. Stillness, wakeful, but not depend on words and language. No chattering. It's just quickly exposing that which words and language drop away. What is that? So if a person practices this, there's no drowsiness. You know, no drowsiness. Yeah.
So
we
you
should just have
Dialogue.
lunch after the retreat. We can just have a dialogue. Go ahead. Your
I
question.
was wondering why the audience don't have all these questions. Okay. So you just mentioned the awakeness, the wakefulness, illuminating side. So can you elaborate on, because you're saying they're sitting there moment to moment, obviously being wakeful. Can you then, for instance, breathing, whatever, it's very easy to go into so-called samadhi. So can you make a differentiation between what you meant wakefulness and becoming one-pointedness?
We'll practice that tomorrow.
Okay, so I asked too early.
Yeah, a little early. You're jumping
Okay.
ahead of yourself.
Okay. Tomorrow you will they teach the method then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tonight is just a little bit of taste. Just some principle. Juncture. That's the secret. That's the entry point. Don't go through all the words and language. Just body. I'll do a little guided sitting to kind of start what I mean by embodied experiencing and what I mean by the juncture of practice. Any other question from this side? So I had a lot of questions. This side. All good. Yeah. Tension. Yeah.
Can physical pain be a juncture?
Yeah. Everything. The juncture of tension. That would include pain, physical, emotional, all kinds. It is in these moments that's the opportunity. Yeah. There's no other thing for practice. Nothing to do with cushion or statues or something. Yeah. Junctures.
I might have missed what you were saying, but I remember you mentioning our brain is naturally wired to kind of pay attention to one, our senses one over the others. Is there any use of focusing on one in practice, either on the cushion or off the cushion? Was there any kind of like method surrounding that with silent illumination?
Yeah, a lot. Like you don't want to rely on method for silent illumination, especially Chan methods. You don't want to rely on ones with a lot of talking, a lot of ideas, philosophical. That's not typically Chan. It's usually like sensation, embodiment. That directly bypasses the labels and proliferation of ideas. Right? So when you're sitting, just sitting. It's not like you have nothing to do. Right? You're sitting. If you're sitting, you're paying attention to the breath. Okay, that's meditation on the breath. So the reality of sitting, the simplicity of sitting, what does it mean to sit? So you embody that. Nothing abstract. There's no faith about it. It's just here. How do you know you're sitting? You'll quickly discover the extent to which our mind's talking. Am I doing it right? Maybe just sitting. So the absence of that is the practice of embodied experiencing of sitting. What people can do in order to get a handle on it, right? They can begin with the embodied experiencing of posturing. See, this is a little more concrete now, right? Embodied experiencing of weight. Right? Embodied experiencing of. So the posture, the thing with posturing, sensation in the arms, heads, and so on, actually that can fall away relatively easy if you're kind of grounded and relaxed. If you're tense, then, blood rush, the breath is coarse. If you're relaxed, the head will fall away. Your hands will disappear. So you gotta have a method. You can't just stay there doing nothing, right? So usually one begins with embodied experiencing of posturing until the body is as if there, as if not there. What emerges in that moment, at that time, is a sense of roundedness. That's concrete. So the physicality of sitting becomes more prominent. And it's just, my teacher used to say, the totality. That leads to a wrong idea. People think they start to visualize the totality, or I don't have, like, they come to the interview, I don't have sensation here. Of course you don't. There's no nerve endings in these places. So people misunderstand. So I just swipe all the teaching what he used to teach, put it away. So at that time, the physicality is very concrete, palpable, round sense of weight. It's not posture anymore. Right? If you continue to sit, that will fall away. What emerges? Embodied experiencing of wakeful motionlessness. Like literally, your body's not moving. If you still see the rise and fall stomach or this breathing, that means your body's not relaxed enough. It should relatively just no breath here, no rise and fall. For most people, their body's tense, so they will feel rise and fall. It's fine. If you don't pay attention to it, you pay attention to the totality, just the embodied experiencing of roundedness. Then there won't be rise and fall. It's very powerful. So what I'm talking is very concrete experience. Physicality, somatic experiencing. Right? So bypasses everything, words and language. You're not sleeping, right? You're very awake. Why? Like Hongzhi says, 就 embodied experiencing. Right? Embodied investigation. So the vibrancy, clarity of that experiencing, natural functioning of our mind manifest. Not objectified. There's no object here. There's that. Just, nor is it a thing. It's the kind of true spirit of silent illumination. And it's not limited to sitting. So when you're engaging with the world, you understand words and language people are talking about, but words don't define that person. Words don't define your experience, yet you understand. That's a metaphor for illuminating. Right? So it's embodied. And that is very different than one point in the samadhi, where it's just the damn object. Just dissolve yourself in the object. It's just you're just it. What I'm talking about is not a single thing. Right? You're not asleep either. Very different. Very different. Now, usually people's practice is lopsided, so they will enter into some clarity, and the clarity become a thing. So they're kind of observing clarity, or the breath, or whatever. It's a thing. Right? There's selfing and there's othering. Until they emerge. And it's just one thing. That's what my teacher says. The one mind. One mind. There's still something. There's a mind. Right? So it's just moment to moment to moment, already free. Already let go. Vibrant. Dynamic. Wondrous. Chinese is 妙. Hongzhi uses this. Wondrous. Sublime. Kind of. Not any particular precious thing. Everything. Precious. Everything. Wondrous. Sometimes he calls it marvelous. Those of you who grew up in the 80s, 90s, Saturday Night Live, you know, was that Billy Crystal? You look marvelous. Marvelous. Everything is marvelous, he calls it. Right? It's alive. It's not samadhi. Not one pointedness. Not a thing. First, I learned to bypass words and language, labels. Experiencing, sitting. Your breath. Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow. Okay? Entry point to that is juncture. Juncture. You want to refine your mind, not really big, thinking about this and that. Just refine it to this moment. Experiencing. Not the whole totality of the body, like visualizing the body, even if you're sitting, just the embodied experiencing of this. So intricate. It's intricate. It's refined. It's like threading a needle. You know, the needle is a very small hole, very refined. Every moment. Do that tomorrow. Excited? Ready? Okay. Okay. Take a break. It ends at 9, right? We take a break and we sit a little bit. Okay. Sit together. Try a little bit. Nice. If you have to stretch here. If you really need to go to the bathroom, you can go. This is a short period. As you stretch, as you move about, come back to the body, just experience. Experience what? Movements and sensations. Dim the lights. Okay, those of you who are present. No, we don't want them off. Put your hands on your knees, maybe. Adopt a comfortable posture. All the sense organs, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind. Now is the time we want to privilege the sense organ of the body. Okay? So I want you to amplify the sense of the body. This means you're becoming all sensations. Being here. Feels all the facial muscles, especially the space between the eyes. The place where we hold a frown. So what you can do is raise your eyebrows up, hold, and let them drop a few times and feel the sense of release. I'm talking about feeling of skin and muscles. Okay. Extend the sense of release to the eyelids, feeling the skin, all the tiny muscles on the eyes, including the eyelids. Relax. Even the eyeballs. Relax. Visualizing you're not amplifying the sense faculty of the eyes. You're not even seeing anything. So if you see black, you see light, that means you're using your eyes. So I want you to use tactile sensations, the body. See if you can feel eyelids, eyeballs, like a muscle, relaxing. Veins of your cheeks. Follow your jawline from below your ears all the way to your chin. Feeling the skin, muscles relaxing. In the chin a little bit. Now feel your lips, corners of your mouth. Gentle smile, just a tad bit of a gentle smile. Just like that muscle memory, your facial muscles will actually relax. The feeling tone in this moment, right? The muscle relaxing, the facial muscles, your feeling tone would have shifted, slight shift in your feeling tone to that of contentment. See if you can access that. Just simple smile. Sweep down from the back of the cranium, down the neck. So at this time, rotate your neck. Make sure, clarify the mind. Make sure it's good oxygen flow to the brain. Rotate, feeling the skin, feeling the muscles, and especially the tendons as you stretch. And continuing on to the neck, from the neck to the shoulders. This is another tension spot. So what I want you to do is gently inhale, raise your shoulders up towards the ears. Hold. Exhale. can drop quickly, you can drop gently. Give it a couple times. Just familiarize yourself with what it feels like, that sense of release. Sense of weight. Arms still on your knees, relaxed. Both arms. Relax section by section down. Wiggle the elbows a bit just to get a good feel for it. Arms relaxed. And now go to the chest. Only relax the chest. See if you can feel slow chest. Feel that? Your chest is relaxed. Shift your attention to this body experiencing of the exhalations. What's that doing to your chest? Release. Exhale. Relax. This is what is meant by using your breath to relax the exhalations. Relax into rounding, sinking. Now, the next exhalation, drop to sensations. See if you can feel a subtle rise and fall of the abdomen following the rhythm of your breath. If you can't feel it, put one of your palms right over the tummy. Put a lot of nerve endings in the palm. You will feel the movement. Once you get the movement, put your hand away, keep the sensation. Exhalations. Exhale. Sink. Sink. Out. Okay, now. Now we want to put our hands in the meditation posture. Left on top of right, palms up, thumbs touching. Resting in our lap. Still relaxed. Hands are making a gentle oval shape. Feel the thumbs. Okay. Now, in order to calibrate whether your body is actually upright, centered, here's what you do. Sway your body from left to right. See if you can find a center point of gravity. Allow the swaying to come to a stop by itself when your body finds that point. Gentle. Okay. And sway front and back. See if you can find a center. A lot of times people actually lean forward unintentionally when they straighten their back. So you want to find a center point. Then sink down, relaxed. Continuing, relax the hips, thighs, and knees. Just feel them. It should be relaxed. Calves, ankles, feet. And feel ground beneath the earth. It should be very sharp, clear, very fascinated, refined. If drowsiness have hijacked it, your state of mind, rotate the neck, wake yourself up. Oxygen flowing. Otherwise, so now the body is relaxed. Next, check in with how you actually feel in this moment. Relaxed, safe, content. Allow this feeling of contentment resonate. Neither chasing anything or try to get rid of anything. In other words, content. It's all good. Is the body relaxed? Heart content. Next. Great fascination. Great interest. At the juncture of embodied experiencing posture. Maybe your arms and the base of your posture contacting the earth. What does it actually feel? Sitting. No words, no language. Again, we're privileging the sense faculty of the body. We're not going to privilege the discursive mind. No talking. No words. Just embodiment. See if you can feel palpable, somatic embodiment of being here, sitting. Posturing. Juncture of contact. Your skin to the earth. For the sake of experimentation, see if you can do this. Not an embodied experiencing of the postures, just the embodied experiencing of groundedness, the physicality of sitting, the earth beneath. Like you're just part of the earth, the ground. Awake. Instant by instant. Physicality. Okay. Ring the bell. See the sound of the bell reverberating through your body. See if you can hear the sound with your body. Sense faculty of the body, not the ears. You ring it one more time. Okay. Show your palms. Knees, rotate a little bit. Come on, meditation, movement, sensations. And rub the palms together, massage, make it warm, and then massage the eyes. Massage the face. The whole scalp, the head, and the shoulders, arms, chest, abdomen, section by section. How was that period? It was okay. Did you get a palpable experience, feel of just relaxing, establishing the foundation, body relaxed, heart content, and then great fascination, moment to moment juncture experiencing. How many of you were able to get a taste of this embodied experiencing of posturing, sitting? Raise your hand. Okay. What about the embodied experiencing of groundedness, the physicality of the body? Right? Okay. These are kind of two common ways. No, sensation disappearing, sensation come and go. Yeah. So we begin with sensation. That's the most tangible. Tangible. When sensation goes away, roundedness should be there. Once you lose sensation of the body, something still remains. Right? What is it? Roundedness, rootedness, sense of weight. When weight disappears, something else to say will still be present. Motionlessness. And the motionlessness becomes how concrete. There's a physicality to that. So tangible. Right now, he's like motionless because the mind is scattered. You can't feel it. But once you're there, it becomes tangible. Okay. We'll end tonight. And when you drive, careful. Okay. Sure of experiencing what's happening. Right. So
Should we end with transfer of merit?
yes. Yeah. Share your palms. Please read.
We pray for the flourishing of Buddha Dharma, for peace in the world, for the joy and contentment of all people, for the freedom and ease of body and mind. May sentient beings depart from suffering. May the vows of the donors be fulfilled.
Okay, please rise. Do you all typically do prostrations at the end? Okay.